Yo, we've got a lot to talk about in this video. We've got my predictions for the Serie A, so let's not waste any time. I'm even dressed for the part. By the way, I'm Adrian, and this is Rabona TV, and if at any time you're digging the content from this video, be sure to hit subscribe to help us out. Alright? Tomorrow we got some La Liga predictions, so stick around for that. Let's do it! Let's start this thing off working our way from the bottom, in 6th, as I actually see Lazio having a bit of a tougher season than they did last season. At times, they were up around 2nd and 3rd, though they did tail off quite a bit, and ended up losing out on Champions League football right at the death against Inter. The loss of Felipe Anderson doesn't help, as he was a top boy for them last year, while Stefan de Vrij leaving Lazio for Inter leaves a hole in their defense to go with the one in their midfield from Anderson. They did hold on to Immobile and Milinkovic-Savic and added Valon Berisha, Joaquin Correa for a threat down the wing, and Milan Bedell, who impressed against Iceland for Croatia in the World Cup in the central midfield. But with all the teams around them improving massively, in my opinion, 6th is as high as they'll climb. Just ahead of Lazio in 5th will be AC Milan, which is of course just one place back from where they hope to be, as the goal must still just be Champions League football for this term. They have brought in some notable players such as Gonzo Higuain and Caldara from Juve, in turn getting rid of the troubled boy that is Leonardo Bonucci. Caldara is actually considered to be one of the top Italian defenders for the future, so that could be a huge score for them. They also brought in Ivan Strinic, who had a decent World Cup, took Pepe Reina away from Napoli, looked to revitalize former hype kid Alen Halilovic, and signed Paolo Maldini. Maldini, of course, is going into the role of Director of Strategic Development, but anyways. While Milan has no doubt improved upon their squad in comparison to last season, they still don't have me completely convinced with Rino Gattuso as their manager. I was actually hoping to see Ancelotti retake the helm at Milan, but more on him later. Like I said, top 4 will be the aim, but similarly to Lazio, their rivals around them already have better pieces in place and improved upon them. So Milan will be a very competitive 5th place team, one better than last season. Just ahead of AC Milan will be Carlo Ancelotti and SSC Napoli. Yes, despite looking so good last season and pushing Juve almost all the way, and in fact leading for 22 of the 38 match days, I think that Napoli is going to fall on some hard times this season. Why? Well, the main reason is that they lost their main engine room, their conductor, Jorginho, the guy who was at the heart of so much of Napoli's play and Sarri's system. Which segues nicely into the loss of Maurizio Sarri. His style of play is demanding, and it involves the entire team to be in sync and on the same page. After 3 years of developing under Sarri and learning his now iconic Sarri ball, there will be a massive change in playing style that the team will have to get used to, which could spell a little bit of trouble for them. Speaking of the team though, they've added Fabian Ruiz to boost their central midfield options in Jorginho's stead. Simone Verdi joins from Bologna to perhaps play on the opposite wing of Insigne, and a few others. Now, they showed signs of burning out towards the end of last season, and I think a slow start is on the way for them, as they will be facing Lazio away, then Napoli, Sampdoria away, Fiorentina, Torino away, then Parma and Juve in their first 7 matches. I think they'll start to really click come January or December, but it will be too late for them. And 4th will be their final resting place. I expect them to really go for it in Europe and the Coppa Italia though. Now, let's look at the top 3, as AS Roma will be climbing as high as 3rd in my opinion. They looked really good last season, especially with their run to the semi-finals of the Champions League, finishing comfortably in 3rd place behind Napoli. With Monchi in charge of recruitment at the club, Roma are really beginning to build a solid team. While they did sell Nainggolan to a rival team in Inter, they have added Steven Nzonzi to boost their midfield, as well as Javier Pastore, who was a forgotten man at PSG, but his time at Palermo before won't be forgotten, where he was one of the most sought-after talents of that time. While they did suffer the embarrassment of the Malcolm debacle, hey, as an Impact fan, it happens, they did bring in a very promising winger in Justin Kluivert. In fact, Roma did a crazy amount of recruitment this summer, but they also lost their star keeper in Alisson. They brought in Swedish keeper Robin Olsen, who impressed at this summer's World Cup, as well as Davide Santon, the Italian fullback, Ante Coric, Brian Cristante, who was great for Atalanta last season, etc, etc. All this to say, while Roma has lost in selling Alisson and Nainggolan, they have gained a lot in younger talent and hopeful Monchi gems of the future. I don't know if they will go as far in the Champions League this season, but I think that Eusebio Di Francesco will guide them to a 3rd place finish once again in what will be a hotly contested Serie A season, man. Damn. Alright, and now it comes down to this. first and second, with either Inter or Juve taking it. And you know what? I figured I'd really go for it in this one with the hopes that football will start to change things up this season in some of the leagues that have been completely dominated by a certain few teams. All things point to dominance by Juve this season with the additions of Cristiano Ronaldo, João Cancelo, who did well at Inter last season, Leo Bonucci, and Emre Can. As mentioned before, they offloaded Mattia Caldera, who, as mentioned before, will likely be one of the top Italian centre-backs in a couple of years' time, as well as the loan of Higuain to AC Milan with an option to make it permanent. While Higuain would be a major loss for most teams, he wasn't great last season, as his form has been on the decline ever since moving from Napoli to Juve. Last season, he only scored 23 goals, going through major goal droughts in that time, so even comparing him to Cristiano Ronaldo it's kind of a joke, let's be honest. There's no way he comes anywhere near Ronaldo in any aspect of the game. He's a big game choker where Ronaldo lives for the big games. I mean, there's not much I need to even say about Ronaldo's addition, as the Bianconeri fans will hope that he can strike up an incredible partnership with Paulo Dybala and Douglas Costa in the attack, and maybe Mandzukic as well. Defensively, despite having a pretty crap season with AC Milan last year, Leonardo Bonucci in theory should be a great addition or re-addition to their defense, with hopes that he'll have a seamless reintegration alongside Chiellini and perhaps Barzagli, depending on how Allegri chooses to set up the back line. Of course, Gianluigi Buffon is always going to be a big loss, as he's one of, if not the best keeper of all time at this point, but Szczesny is no slouch, and I think that Juve will be happy in that position, especially with Mattia Perin waiting in the ranks, who's expected to be one of the best Italian keepers alongside Donnarumma in the future. Inter, on the other hand, have probably had one of the best transfer windows of all the teams in Italy, if not the best. They have improved their squad in every single position by a long shot. They brought in Croatian right back Sime Vrsaljko on loan from Atletico with an option to make the move permanent. To save breath, I'll just say with an option from now on. As well as Matteo Politano, the former Sassuolo winger, Caitabalde from Monaco, also on loan with an option, as well as Lautaro Martinez, who was one of the most sought after center forwards in South America this season after showing off his potential with Racing Club in Argentina. And finally, combative midfielder Radja Nainggolan boosts their midfield. Oh, and not to mention the two players they signed on free transfers. The highly sought after Stefan de Vrij from Lazio improves their center back position even more, which was already strong with Miranda and Skriniar in there. And honestly, their attack looks quite frightening now, with Icardi and Perisic sticking around, as well as the additions of Politano, Lautaro, and Caitabalde on loan from Monaco. Balde had a stunning season with Lazio before his Monaco holiday last year. Like I said, each area of the pitch, besides the goalkeeping position, which was already solid with Handanovic, has had a massive improvement. The rumors of Modric making the move to Inter rumble on, and whether he comes or not, I get the feeling that this second season under Spalletti will be Inter's best since the Mourinho treble. I also think that Inter will get the benefit of Juventus pouring so much of their focus into winning the Champions League, and I expect Juve to do great things in that competition, as Ronaldo is arguably the best player to have taken part in that competition thus far, or certainly the most prolific. But with Inter, I think for them, moving past the group stage will be their goal in the Champions League, of course, and anything from there is simply a bonus, with their main focus being on winning the league. So, let's have fun with this one and break up the monotony. Spalletti to finally pull it off this season for me, with Inter just edging Juventus in the standings. I'm hoping for a great race. But, again, don't get sad, Juve fans. These are just my predictions, which provide a base for you to share yours. That's what these videos are all about. So make sure you guys comment below with how you think the Serie A will go this season. I thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, then feel free to drop a like and subscribe if you're just finding us. My name is Adrian, this is Rabona TV, and we'll hopefully see you tomorrow for some La Liga predictions. Bye!